Hello everybody, good evening again, and welcome back. I know I'm probably like on part 4 of that other video session, but I'm going to kind of change up things a little bit tonight, and kind of give you what the Lord's been, weighing on my heart. These last few days I've been doing a lot of thinking as I've been driving, and just pretty much coming off of the current events of what's going on. The Lord has been telling me the Father's here on here on earth, taking us back from at the start, and the book of Genesis, and taking us to Revelation back to the book of Genesis. So everything's got to take place. Everything's got to take place in between all these things. The world's crazy right now. There's a lot of stuff going on, a lot of things we don't understand. But we have to remember this. We have to remember that we have to keep Christ focused, in our mind and in our hearts. We can't allow the things going on outside our windows and at work, and our households. We have to continue to trust that God is in control. The devil wants to deceive us. The devil wants to take us away from what God is doing. He's moving among this world. He's here. What a better time to really start to look at what's going on. I had this dream last night. I woke up, it was about, 12:30, 1 o'clock, somewhere in there, that it's the craziest thing, and again, I don't want to speak names, but I have no choice in this matter. I will just tell you, it's our current president and a former president that our current president served under was in this. And I seen this press conference going on, and I seen the current president talking. But then when it was over, I seen this kind of like you see in movies and stuff. You pull a book and the bookshelf would turn. Well, I seen this pretty much this turning, and I seen our former president standing there. Don't want the company's name to show that. That's why I kind of got this flipped inwards. But anyways, so as this turns, there's a man standing in place. Well, we can speculate all we want who's running this world, and the United States, and all the connections and all these things going on. But God is speaking something here. We have to really start paying close attention to what God's speaking, why he's here, and what's going on. The devil is behind the scenes right now. The devil's wanting his time. The devil is wanting what he thinks is owed to him, what God promised. Well, God never breaks a promise. What God says, it's going to be done. This Bible is going to be fulfilled. The Lord came to fulfill the Bible. He came to fulfill his prophecies of what he needed to fulfill. Going to the grave was something. I spoke a while back, the Lord on the cross took on all sin. He allowed it to enter him. He passed away with it, went to the grave, left it all there, came out, defeated hell, and went back to heaven to be cleaned and be made new. We find a lot of things hard to believe, but we believe the very things that we want to believe. I truly know the things that are going on right now, that the devil's trying to stop these videos. The devil's trying to keep people's mouths closed. You know, I've ran into so many troubles just trying to upload videos. It's not even funny. You know, on the last few videos, I was even, talking about that. The lighting issue. I'm not even for sure how this lighting is going to come in, because to me, what I'm looking at, it looks extremely bright. But I'm hoping that it's not, and then, you're moving the mic around, because I want you to be able to hear what God's doing. And, the Lord showed me a great falling away. The Lord showed me New York many times, corruption, and I believe the falling of this, and I believe that the people of Congress right now that are moving money around in their stocks because they know something's coming. They know Wall Street's going to crash, but they don't want to say it. You ever notice when you go to a magic show, one hand's doing this and the other hand, you really don't see it. Because if you paid attention, you would know how the magician did his tricks. You ever notice when Trump is in the news lines, what's going on with the Democratic Party? It's not even so much the Democratic Party, because the Lord also showed me a vision of the Republicans and the Democrats holding hands behind closed curtains, per se, what they're putting to bed, what they're putting to rest. There is no political party, people. It is what it is. We're focused on Democrats, we're focused on Republicans, we're focused on all the things. And why we're focused on all these things, out here on these strange islands, bad things happen. China goes out there in the water and builds an island. How do you build an island and how many thousands of gallons of water underneath of it? There's rumor has it that they were using submarines and building plates on top of it and building upwards from that point. And they're moving it slowly, but slowly, but slowly. Is it a rumor or is it true? Who knows? Maybe that's why they don't want us so close, because they don't want us to see how they're doing stuff. Because if something's barely moving, you can't even really tell my hands moving, can you? It would take it a while for me to touch that screen. But if it's moving fast, you'd be able to see it, right? But in reality, I'm showing you this. Look at that. See, one hand does this. You have no idea what the other hand's doing, do you? Because we're focused on this. And that's what the politicians want you to focus on. They want to put these things in there, but I just want to ask you one question. What do you truly believe? Only I can sit up here and tell you all the visions and all the dreams and all the things all night and day. But what is it that you truly believe in? If you really think that this world is it, then you have bigger problems than what you really realize. You can't fix things. You can try to fix things. It's not going to work. Take a fool's advice. I always thought, man, I'll just work more hours. It's going to solve the problems. All it did is wore me out. Some days I wonder if what I'm doing is well worth it. I got a picture right there that gives me the strength under Christ. It gives me the strength to get up, to go and move this vehicle. I got a picture up front. Every time I scan my dash and look at my windows and look at my gauges, look at my air pressures and so on and so on, it gives me a purpose. Because let me tell you, she's the only one that stuck by me and continues to stick by me. What is love? If I had to put love into a category, when did I feel love, growing up? I felt love when my grandmother was alive. I felt pain after she died, and it never seemed to heal. I remember at a particular moment in my life when I accepted Jesus Christ. It didn't last long. Because I couldn't see it. Couldn't touch it. Couldn't feel it. I had the wrong people in my life. Come on. Let's go party. What are you doing with yourselves? You know, there is coming a falling away. There's going to be a huge upset, and I believe it's coming this spring. I'm sorry. Coming this fall. Into the fall, into the new year. I believe 2023 is going to be a very powerful year. We're really going to see God moving. We're going to see God's hands at work, and we're going to see God unturning things. We're going to see God exposing things. I seen in another vision, I seen this aircraft carrier. I don't know which video it's on, even if it recorded or didn't record at this point, because I've been deleting so much stuff because there's no audio, there's no stuff on. But I seen this vision of this World War. I would date it back to World War I, World War II, because I love history. And I really pay a lot of attention to the different ships and way things look. And now you got to understand this. There's a great big gapping hole in the side of this thing. And I asked the Lord, I said, Lord, why is that hole there? And he says, because God's exposing the truth. He's going to expose the truth, people. But we can't hate. We can't hate through this. We can't hate what people are going out here doing. We can't hate what one race is doing to another confused people are doing. People want to force things down our throats, but you mention God and look out. But yet you're going to go out here and try to prove to the world, and you're going to try to make us believe and make us understand and make us accept. I don't have to accept anything. I don't have to accept it. I have to accept what I believe that's in this Bible and what I live my life by. People are going to come against you no matter what you believe. I seen tonight when I pulled in here and I walked up to get something to drink, and I seen these two kids, two boys and a girl. They were with their parents, and the one little boy asked for something. The dad told him no. He went over and asked the mom. The dad got upset with him because the dad told him no. The other little boy comes out with his sister. They're walking towards him, and they got stuff in their hands. And then they asked their dad, and he said, yeah, sure, no, it's okay, yeah, go ahead. And the little boy put his head down. And I'm standing there, and I'm looking at him, and the guy looks at me, and I looked at the little boy, and I looked at him, and I turned towards the counter where the mother was, and all of them are in line, and the other two's got these things in his hands, and he just kind of stared at me, and as I'm staring at him, I'm just looking at him. And I'm looking at a little boy what I felt like that little boy felt like he was useless. It wasn't important. It's okay for those, but it's not okay for me. See, that's how I felt growing up. I felt like I never had a purpose. I felt like I didn't belong anywhere. And a lot of times I still do. You know, there's things that you don't understand, but there's things that when God shows... See, God shows me all this stuff. You know, God shows me things before holidays are coming, before birthdays are coming, before Christmases are coming. And it's a repeat pattern through a lot of it. But, you know, it doesn't hurt me anymore with how events take place. And my thing is I'd rather somebody do nothing than do something that truly doesn't mean it, because I've had too much of that in my life. And I know with Christ, He fulfills all that. He gives me what I need. And, you know, some days I sit here and I think about the person that I got waiting for me at home. You know, it's about the only thing I guess that keeps me going is that someone's there needs me. Because all my life, it seems like that's all I've ever done is fix and do. I didn't know how to be a brother because I felt like I was a dad. I didn't know how to be a son because I felt like I was a dad. You know, and it's, I don't understand a lot of things. I really don't. But I know that Christ, with that daily relationship, you know, that I have with him, I talk to him throughout the day, and I just don't come to him once or twice. You know, I come throughout the day. It's the same as I'm having a relationship and a conversation with anybody else. You know, my heart aches for a lot of things. I have dreams, only if it's what's in line with God's plans. You know, these visions, I'm telling you, people, I don't understand why I get them. But I tell you what, my wife watches a few people online, and it's amazing the stuff that she tells me, and it's an inspiration. It really is, because it just proves that what God speaks to me and what the Lord gives me and what the Lord shows me, how is other people speaking it? We don't know each other. And the amazing thing is, I've reached out to a few of them, but my email got hacked over and over and over. Now I can't even get into it. I can't even open up my email. Now I had to start a whole new one, because somehow it keeps getting hacked. And every time I call in there and ask them, well, they say, well, it's somebody with this type of phone. Somebody that knew it. Well, there's only a few people that did. Doesn't necessarily mean it's them. The devil may want you to think it's them. Cause more hate, cause more pain. I don't know. And it simply could be the very people that I think that's doing it. If it is, what are you going to do about it? It just shows how sad that people's lives is, that they gotta ruin someone's life, and they have to go in there and destroy people for whatever reason. Whatever reason why they do what they do. But I can tell you why they do it, because the devil opens that doorway. But through this coming, Wall Street will fall, people. And it's coming soon. If it doesn't happen within this year, I believe before 2023, the middle of 2023, at the latest, I believe Wall Street's going to fall, and it's going to fall hard. And I believe all these people that has their hands in the cookie jar, per se, you know, there's too many things that's going on. There's too many things that's going out here that's exposing the truth, see? And when it's exposing the truth, people start to get scared. You know, we all heard about Trump's place in the files and all this stuff. Well, the truth of it is, we had the president before him take files out of there. We had the president's wife before that hide stuff in emails, personal emails. Where's the justice? Our president now, look at the scandals and stuff that goes on with that, with China and all this leadership and all this money and all this payouts and stuff, and the abuse of planes, you know, using Air Force One to do other activities and stuff when you're a vice president. There's so many wrongs that goes on here, but again, the one hand does this and the other hand's doing this. But we're not paying attention to one hand, we're too focused on this. I'm not here to bash the presidents. I'm not here to I'm here to bring some light to these things. Like if you go back and look at the other couple of videos I even showed about the 9/11 thing. People, you're going to believe what you want to believe. If you want to sit there and look at the American flag and go, you know, I offended a few people a while back. Got really upset with me because I said, I don't care, burn the dang flag. That flag does nothing for me. Because if you really think you're going over there and serving Look how many people come back with so many issues of what happens during war, and what do we do to help them? So maybe send them to a hospital. How many veterans that struggles to go to the VFW to get help? I know for a fact I called many times for my dad. I needed this document, that document, this release, that release. They bury you in paperwork. And then when you finally do get an okay to get some medication, it's not covered. You have to get this kind or this kind. So you got to take them back to the doctors. You got to take them back here. And you got to do this and you got to do that. You know, and it gets to the point where you just go, hold on, let me see if I can turn this a little bit. You know, and then you come back and then you go, what exactly are we doing here? You know, you're coming into this point in life where you go, is it worth it? Because where we are is about as free as nothing anymore. You know, people, we want to talk about all your rights and what you think you're owed and what you think you need in the very things in life. But the only thing we truly need is God back in this country. We could speak it all night and day, but if it's not in you, you're not going to do it. And I mean truly in you. Are you complaining about things? Are you never happy with things? You know, complaining is the biggest problem that you can do, honestly. You know, instead of going up to people and saying, hey, you offended me. I got a problem. Can we sit down and talk about it? See, sit down and talk reasonable about it. You know, but listen, don't go pointing your finger at people when they say, hey, I need to explain a few things about you here too, because this also happens. You don't want to hear it. If you can sit there and say, yeah, I have done that. I've done that. You know, I see you this way. But when somebody says I see that, but then you counterattack them and come at them again, there's a big problem there. Because you see yourself in a different light. I see myself in a different light. You know, nobody wants to hear, well, we see you this way or that way, da 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 da. Well, maybe you don't see yourself that way. Maybe sometimes you should step back and really see yourself. I recommend sometime, you know, put a recording up around your house. And eventually, you know, you forget about it. Some people, you know, if you just randomly set a camera throughout the days and stuff and you really watch how people are, you're going to see things that it's disturbing. I mean, really is disturbing. You know, but we got to, you know, you have to think about how God sees us. You know, we can never get away with anything with God. You know, if you walked in a store and you looked up and you looked around Walmart and looked up in the sky, you know, on the roof and stuff, you know, you'll see cameras all over the place. But people still think they're going to out-clever the cameras. Maybe they will get away with it. Maybe they will get out the door. Once they get out the door, they're free, right? No, you're not. You may do it 1,000 times. You may go to different stores and do it 1,000 times. But every time you do it, God is watching. You know, there's a time coming through this exposure that things are going to change. But through the changing, God's getting ready to call his people home. And if you think through all this that you're going to be able to just come and repent at the end, you're wrong. You're not going to have the protection and the comfort of Jesus, because he's going to be up there reigning with his people that God has given him. You're going to feel every bit of it, he said. Every bit of whatever happens to you, you're going to feel it. You're going to wish to die. You're going to try to die. You even try to take your life, and you're not going to pass away. The Lord said the only way, and you will take on his name, and they will torture you for it. They will remove your head. But they also said they will not sharpen their blades. And when ISIS was here doing it, Again, you notice how quick the ISIS came in, the fear, the Al-Qaeda and all these things, and they just kept joining forces because they wanted to make it big and badder. More fearful. This one doesn't work anymore, this one doesn't work anymore, but if you marry them together, it's a powerful force. And through that powerful force, bam, they can attack and make you more fearful. I seen this video, and behind him was a red curtains or whatever it was, or maybe it was the lighting, I don't know. When I seen the president standing there addressing this in the anger, throwing his fist up in the air, even when the governors of the other states came and was questioning the fact of the election time, and he's slamming the gavel down and just screaming and yelling because he knows. Like his family knows. Everybody knows. It's not we are not blind by it anymore. It's like the COVID. Again, go back and watch the other videos. I'm not going to keep reopening that door because the other videos did upload on it. But it is what it is. It's what you believe. If you want to put a mask on, go put a mask on. If you want to mask your dog, your cat, your fish, then go do it. But people, and I'm big on it, but I'm not making fun of them. I just don't understand it. I don't understand how you physically think a mask. I've seen people with the painter's mask on, with the charcoal filters and stuff on it. I've seen people got mask on, got face shields on, got glasses on under the face shields. How fearful. But then when the government says you can take the mask off, they tell you to put them back on. Everybody's running back out and putting them on. Now we got monkeypox. Like I said a little bit ago, COVID. First it was children under a certain age didn't have to wear them. Then it was toddlers, and like I said in the last video, like as if you're wearing a mask and your family's not, and they're coming into the household and you're taking your mask off because you're inside your house. Some people warm in their house, which killed me. You're walking around the house with the same people that breathe in the same air, and everything you touch and they touch, you're touching the mask, moving the mask. I can go on and on and on about how ridiculous it is. Let's just put ourselves in spacesuits and walk around with oxygen masks on, because I'm sure give the government long enough and they'll sell you that nonsense too, and people are going to buy it, and they're going to walk around like spacemen, and they're going to be ridiculous. Good luck getting a car that does that. Hey, maybe you can get that car with the electric car and plug everything in all at once, and you can keep your oxygen in your spacesuit cool by plugging it into the car. Take the car to plug it into the station. But I don't know how you're going to get out to plug the car in, because you're going to have to get out of your plastic bubble reality land. And I'm not making fun of you. I'm just trying to be a little bit sarcastic here, so you understand how ridiculous this sounds. When the automatic trucks came in there, I'm like, well, that's ridiculous. You're going to tell me a robot is going to drive a truck, can't get out of the truck, but they're going to back into a robotic dock. Robots are going to unload the truck. That truck then robot's going to talk to robot, and the robot's going to go back to where it came from and pick up other loads and go to different places. Well, when they tried that, and the truck behind there would get stuck at a light, and the other truck got too far away because it wasn't syncing right, then the other truck just sat there. It couldn't move because the one in front of it's gone. Well, think about this in life. If Jesus has gone out of my pathway, I'm lost. I don't know which direction to go in. I've been down roads and it's led me nowhere. There's a song, and I forget who even sings it now, and it's amazing because the Lord just keeps changing and changing and changing my life. I used to know songs like I did movies. I could tell you the artist, I could tell you what year they were done, because again, it was a drug for me. It was an addiction. I started burning CDs and stuff, and through all this, I'd make CDs and make CDs and make CDs, and I didn't care. The 50s, the 60s, the 70s, the 80s, some of the 90s. I kind of started losing interest in the 90s because to me it was garbage. I mean, it really was. But where I'm going with this is you got to get to a point that Jesus is centered in your life. You got to get to a point when you look out that window or you're driving down the street, somebody cuts you off. It's about the world. It's about themselves. The devil's here. He's never left. He's been here from the beginning of time. Since he got thrown out of heaven, the devil's been here. He's been here longer than you. If you ever want to know how these demons know your life and what you're doing, because they watch you. They watch you every day. They sit there and just stare at you and watch you. Every little thing you do. That's how they know how to get into your lives. Depression. Depression's horrible. It's it just pretty much kills and robs you, takes your joy, because you're constantly focused on everything else but what you should be focused on, because you're sad all the time, you're lonely, you get into areas of your life that you're not for sure what tomorrow is going to bring. Or you're too busy pointing the finger at everybody else and criticizing someone else for something when you should be looking at your own lives. And there's too much of that. There's too much of that going on. Someone else did this, and someone else is going to pay for this, and blah blah blah. It's sickening in more ways than one, people. I mean, honestly, it is truly sickening. But I believe this change up that's coming, it's going to be different. The Lord said things weren't going to get easier, and trust me, I just hold right here just a few tablets. These tablets, all the stuff that I write in, and I find it amazing how I write this stuff years back, and years back I wrote this stuff, and people are speaking about it today. These different prophets and these different people talking about the events and the times coming. But I don't just talk about the events coming, because the Lord shows me all kinds of things. He talks about the economies. He's warned us about stuff. I mean, he's told my wife and I when we were walking into a store, a couple days before that, you're going to see an ear of corn